Have you been earning a great income in a career that secretly drains your soul? I'm Kandas Rodarte. This is Gratitude Geek, the podcast for Gen X women weaving gratitude into your business strategy. If you have ever stayed way too long in a high-paying job that left you miserable and unhealthy, then you are going to love this conversation with Rachel Spekman. Welcome, Rachel.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
What would you like the audience to know about you?
I am a therapist. I am a career strategist. I am a mom of 2 kiddos. I am a solopreneur, and I went cross-country skiing this morning.
Already? Wow, how fun is that? You must be up in the north like I am. I have so much snow outside my window. I'm actually on Lake Michigan, so we get that lovely lake effect snow.
Beautiful.
Yes. All right. How do you, as a solopreneur, weave gratitude into your business strategy?
I'm working on it. So let me just say that everything is a work in progress. I went on my own in June. This coming June will be a year. So I'm still in year 1. And I feel like I go back and forth between the abundancy mindset, I'm doing exactly as I'm meant to do at the exact right moment, and I'm fully set up to, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay my bills and da 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 da, like all the scarcity. And I'm trying my darndest to get to land in the middle as much as I can, and to sort of observe the swings, if you will. So that's the context. I've really started to do intentionality throughout my day. Actually, I don't know if you can see it right here. I have a poster of all my chakras up. I do sage in between my sessions. I have a journal. I have a few beautiful practices that I actually recommend to everyone. There's a book that's called How to Weave Self-Care into Your Workday. And it's just the most gentle things that you can do, things you can touch to ground yourself, things that are pleasing to the eye, smells that are really beautiful. I think your audience will love this. I mean, ways to keep yourself, if you're
All right.
listening.
All right. Rachel is holding up a sticker and it says, "Be kind of a bitch." And I think I need one of those.
I saw somebody had it in a writing class that I was taking, and I said, I need that. And she said, I will mail it to you. That's
I love
somebody
it.
who does snail mail and sends it to you. Good person. Anyway, those are some of the ways. I still have a lot of work to do around boundaries, around goals, around grace, but those are some of the ways that I really try to weave gratitude into my day.
I love it. Would you share what sage does?
Okay, so my understanding, or how I have come to appreciate sage, is that it literally is a smell, kind of like embodies a sensation of clearing the air energetically. And so even right now, you and I are connecting through the computer. There's an energy being exchanged between us. And the idea is that, let's say we had a session, a therapy session, a career coaching session, whatever it is. And all of a sudden I have to check in with how I'm doing. I feel drained. I feel this is all the work that I do with people, is really understanding the somatic work, which is a fancy way of saying, how do you actually feel in your body when you're with that person, when you're in that job? And then what do you do about however you feel? And so the sage to me is a reminder of, hold on, let me center myself.
Does a sage essential oil work the same way as smudging?
Not for me. For me, there's something really beautiful
It's
about
the ritual.
it's the ritual. It's the
Okay.
ritual. That's
I
a really good
understand.
word for it.
And gratitude rituals are important. And I'm going to call smudging sage a gratitude ritual.
It's definitely a ritual. It's a ritual as much as putting my hand on the doorknob and saying, thank you for the work that I get to do, even if this is hard, is a ritual.
Okay, there's your gratitude practice. You put the hand on the door and you say, thank you for allowing me to do the work that I do.
Correct.
And is that when you walk into the door or when you leave?
Both. I mean, you try to weave this throughout your day. This all comes from this book, Self-Compassion for Therapists, but it's self-compassion for everybody. And it's not the bubble baths and it's not the massage. And it's the smallest ways of just saying, okay, let me tune in. Let me tune in. Let me tune in. And it's so easy to tune out and get the things done and do the notes and fold the laundry. And it's like, okay, let me tune in. Let me tune in.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes all you need to do is touch a rock.
Yes, and I have a rock that I was going to show you when I say, but I couldn't find it, but it's right here.
Yeah,
And it's
just
actually
touch
a
a rock.
textured rock.
Oh, I love it.
I
I
mean,
love it.
it's actually a textured rock. Somebody on the beach near my house paints rocks, and I said, "I'll buy that." And she just looked at me and she said, "I'm gonna give it to you." So anyway, it has a lot of
Aw.
positive energy to me.
Because when she painted it, she put her positive energy in it.
Yes.
That's that energy thing. I love it. All right. You talk about leaving your corporate career for a soul aligned business. So, what do you mean by soul aligned?
So my brief journey is I was doing some asymmetrical work. And asymmetrical is a fancy way, again, of saying soul misaligned. I was presenting one way publicly and I was feeling very different internally. It's also called crying in the bathroom. And that's also the name of another podcast called Crying in the Bathroom. It's how anxious women are like high performers at work, etc. So I had gotten to a place in my corporate life where I was seen as very competent. I was leading a lot of presentations. I was a go to resource for a lot of things. While my career was, quote, taking off, and it was taking off, I went on a very long, painful family planning journey to have my two children. And it took me and my wife this tremendous amount of like mental resources that I had like just little to give to my job, but I kept doing it, of course, because I had to work. And when I finally did have my son, I went back to work after my leave and I was like, this is not it. I'm not in the right room anymore. And that was I was like, nope, I have my child. I was seeing a therapist at the time, loved her. She was like, you've done it. Just stay where you are. Don't go anywhere. You finally have this child and you have this job. And I sat with that for some time, and the work I do with people, I say it generally takes like at minimum 6 months because you don't have this kind of dark night of the soul or epiphany and then change things the next day. No, it's sort of this, it's like changing a cruise ship, like direction, I sometimes say. So I sat with that for about a year and I worked with a coach and I could talk about kind of how I ended up on the path that I'm on, but it started with being uncomfortable,
Oh, I think every positive change starts with being uncomfortable. And
deeply uncomfortable.
until you're uncomfortable enough, you're not going to change.
Of course. And that's soul misaligned, real quickly, for those that are listening. And I know you said a lot of people have already left, but your body is like, we're not doing this.
Yeah, but
Whether it's,
sometimes we've already created this solopreneur business for ourselves and it still feels wrong, even though it's what we think we should be doing.
yeah,
So you can be misaligned even if it's your own business.
you, you really can. I actually help people kind of shut their own business down sometimes. Or that might be an extreme thing, but I work with people professionally to help them make one of three choices, which we call refine, rebuild, or redesign. And maybe your business isn't wrong, but you're spending your energy on the wrong areas. Or maybe it's you need to rebuild. This is not the right business entirely, but you like certain parts of it. Or redesign is completely like what I did, like a complete pivot.
So most of the women listening are over 40. Something crappy happened to them, like divorce, their spouse passed away, they've had cancer, their business failed. And a lot of times you get that imposter syndrome. But women over 40 have a life experience that other people don't have. So, can you suggest some reflective exercises or things to think about that might help a woman truly find the solutions to the future problem from her past?
If I'm hearing you correctly, it's what role does confidence play?
Yeah, exactly. What role does confidence play?
The most critical role. I mean, the most critical role. So the work that I do now, I lead 2 group calls a week and I'll just the Monday calls are called Motivation and Mindset Mondays. And then Thursdays, I like alliterations, Tactical and Transformation Thursdays. I intentionally did that, not just because I like little alliterations, but because if your mindset is not in the right place, and again, that's back to that like turning towards, if you're not like starting your day off as best as you can and then checking in throughout the day and all these things, that's kind of honestly just annoying because you're like, I just want to get the work done. Or it can be annoying. But, but if your mindset isn't right, continually right, the world is kind of going to tear us down in that way. And I do really, really believe that the confidence, I mean, when I said I'm leaving and I left the corporate world, like I said, I left a senior director title to become an intern. I went back to school full time.
Love that. I love
And
that because you're never too old to learn something new.
and I will say to everybody, your ego is on a journey. But guess what? Everyone's ego is on a journey. And especially as a therapist, I joke with clients and I say, I was just talking to somebody about this, like the holiday cards that you get. I'm like, show me their family on a Tuesday night, okay? Show me what really is going on, because we're all in it in different ways, and it's how we present ourselves, and it's really about how we feel. And so the ego's journey is large, and we are never too old to reinvent ourselves. And what are we? I mean, from my perspective, what are we here for if not to be the best version of ourselves?
And ego isn't a bad word. It just means self.
Yes. Let me get a little more practical in my answer, though, because I like to kind of orient myself or anchor myself on like 2 to 3 things that I always suggest, or 2 to 3 things that have helped me. The first is, if you are stuck, if you are not happy, if you're misaligned, find the people, be really intentional about who you're talking to. Because people are going to magnify that voice, or people are going to minimize it, or people are going to be on your support team, or they're not. I had some family members when I reached out and said I was thinking about making a career change. It was like, do not do that. You have a family, you have a mortgage, you have this. What? Thank you. I know that you love me, but you're not the right energy. You're not the right vibe for me and the path that I'm on right now. We can
Hmm.
connect on other things. Meanwhile, I'm talking to people who I don't, quote, know as well. And they're like, oh my gosh, I made this change 10 years ago. Let me tell you all about it. So finding, your vibe attracts your tribe, if you've heard that one, like
Yeah.
that kind of thing is really, really helpful, because it's like who we let in. It's like a sponge. Like, we're so vulnerable. We want to let the right people in.
For someone who is over 40 who is rebuilding their life, what I'm hearing is be confident that your life experience will be enough to move you to the next level.
Absolutely. When I left, I said, I'm becoming a therapist. I left this like venture capital forward facing role. And I'm only saying that because this was like the room I was in. And they said, you're going to social work school? I mean, I literally had people be like, are you okay? Like, what's happening? Like, I was having this crisis. Fast forward, I never thought I'd become a career coach, really, because I was like so stuck in my own career. And when I made that change, I started, sharing with the community that I had been part of. I had a lot of support actually from my boss at the time, so I don't want to paint it as all negative. But those are some of my clients now, the people who said, what are you doing? And now it's like they reach out, they're like, actually, my daughter's really stuck and I really admire what you did. Or so you don't know the kind of light that you're helping other people experience. And that's truly how this business was started, was from the people that not were naysayers, but were kind of skeptical. And then they're like, "Well, you seem happier and you seem more content, and you also seem like you're doing fine financially," which took me some time to get there. But that kind of energy, that like authentic energy, is contagious.
All right. So one of the things that I'm a huge fan of is experimentation. And when someone is at that point where they're like, "Oh, I cannot stand it anymore," but they're scared. I mean, it's scary. It was scary to quit my job, right? It's scary. So how can you take small, incremental, do little tiny experiments to find out if you're ready?
I'm all about experimentation. You can do the most, think about the thing that you want to do, and then you can do it yourself. You can put it in ChatGPT. What is the most basic way to try that on today? So let's do a quick example. I won't keep using myself, although I was able to try on the career that I'm in, and I can talk about that. I have a client right now who wants to do something in the audio tech space, but doesn't have a background in that. And so we are figuring out some experiments that are basically figuring out, if I were to do this, what would I enjoy? What would I not enjoy? How do you know? You're not doing it. And so it's a lot of strategic conversations with people. It's understanding day by day, hour by hour, what are the ways that the audio world could serve this person. So they're going to conferences, they're going to events. Again, they're just kind of trying this on to figure out, as I like to say, are you in the right room? Am I curious? Or sometimes like, what is your give a shit factor when you're in this room? Do you want to be solving the problem? I mean, I asked you at the beginning, what's keeping your client, your listeners up at night? understanding, oh, wait, everything that is keeping these people up at night is something I care about.
I love that question because you can ask that question every time you walk into a room. What in this room can I get behind and I can support this cause? And if you can't think of anything other than I might get some customers, you shouldn't be in that room.
No, I'm going to an event tonight. I'm kind of pushing myself to go, to be honest. But I'm excited because it's a physical movement event and I'm all about physical movement and wellness. And I thought, why would I go? Why would I not go? But I kind of answered that question for myself. Oh, I give a shit about the person who's leading it because she seems really cool. And she left a pretty high profile job to become a fitness coach. That's a person I want to be around.
Yeah. And she figured out a way to do it that honored everything about her. I love it. I love it. This is really top of mind for me right now because this morning I got a message on LinkedIn from someone who had screenshotted my YouTube channel and gave me this real bro marketing kind of pitch. I can double your viewership on YouTube or whatnot. Okay. It was so bro. And my response was actually, dude, this bro marketing message is so 1985. So that was my exact response, right? Because in 2026, we don't want to be bro marketed to. We don't want that heavy sales. We don't want scarcity tactics. We don't want any of that. We want authenticity, or at least the women in when I walk into a room, that's what we want. There might still be rooms filled with people who want to be bro marketed to, but I don't know where those rooms are and I don't want to be in them, right? I don't give a shit about those rooms, right?
I spent a lot of time in those rooms. Those rooms are doing just fine, let me tell you.
Yeah, we don't need to be in those rooms anymore. So how can we align our marketing to our values?
Oh, this is the golden question. I mean, this is literally the golden question because here I am as a solopreneur helping people leave soul-sucking work for soul-aligned work, and I want to build a soul-aligned business. So, for example, I'm trying to do podcasts. I'm trying to create messaging that I would want to read with people that I want to connect with. And I see what I'm doing as planting seeds as opposed to grow, 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 must grow, must grow, must grow. Right? You and I are connecting right now. Who knows if we'll connect in the future? Who knows? You'll put something on LinkedIn. I'll likely. We don't know where these things are going to go. And so I do see it similar to kind of that experiment of let me follow the thread here. Let me follow the excitement. And part of that is that trust piece. And I think when you think about like bro marketing, to use your words, and I come from this scale, grow, faster, breathe later. We don't give a shit how you feel. I mean, all of that. And I come from that world. So I am like deprogramming myself from that all the time, all of the time. And let's be honest, some of that also is what's making money. Some of that are the quote successful companies financially. And so instead of discounting it entirely, it's understanding how can we either cherry pick what works for us or how can we say, interesting. Like I have a marketing coach that I work with, and I will say this, he will give me like 7 ideas that I'll pick one that seems aligned with my soul. And I'll say, let me do that one. And he's not a bad guy. He's not a bro marketer, but they're not all going to work for me. I mean, one of his things is reach out to 6 new people on LinkedIn every day. That doesn't work for me because I wouldn't go up to 6. No.
I'm not going to walk up to 6 new people on the street. No.
Okay. But I
Yeah.
understand what he's saying. And I'm trying to take the best of that and say, oh, you're saying expand the network. How can I do that in person in a way that feels authentic to me?
Yeah. And the reach out to 6 people a day on LinkedIn is bro marketing.
100%.
That's yeah. So what I have noticed is when I call a dude out on bro marketing, they don't even know what the term means. I have called out multiple men on their bro marketing and they've responded with things like, bro marketing is an interesting term, or I don't even know what bro marketing means. It's because you're doing it.
Right. Do you know the fish tank story?
No, share it.
Where a fish swims up to another fish and says, how's the water today? And the other fish turns and says, what's water?
Exactly. Oh my gosh, exactly. I love it. I want to talk to you about your career in venture capitalism. What did you learn there that women over 40 need to know?
Okay, so I was in the startup world, and the venture capitalists were my partners, my clients supporting the startups that were trying to start their own companies. So I was never, I want to just stand corrected. I was never on the venture side, but those were some of the clients that said, "What are you doing? Where are you going?" And I got a very good taste of that world. So I want to, can you ask your question again?
What do women over 40 need to know about venture capitalism? Or what? No, what can they learn from that process?
So many things. So many things, truly. It's almost like if you wanna see what people are paying attention to, see where they're spending their money.
Mm. Ooh, these investors have money. They have hundreds of thousands of dollars to gamble on a business idea. And so the business ideas that get invested in are the ones that are interesting enough to gamble on.
Well, they're the ones that are interesting enough to potentially make a lot of money to gamble on.
Oh, well,
And
yeah.
right. No, I mean, but it's true. You could say I have this incredible idea. I mean, I'll just do like a food one, for example. I had this delicious, oh, this is actually a perfect one. I don't know where this company went. Anyway, it was little like nutritional balls that you could eat when you had your period, and it was going to help reduce symptoms.
Interesting.
And they said, "Great. Tell me how many women across the country, how often they get their period, what is the market share, what are they buying right now? X, Y, and Z. How are we going to monetize this? How are they going to buy it every single month? Are they going to do an annual subscription?" I'm just saying these are the kinds of questions
Yeah.
that it goes from idea to what is the ROI in terms of dollars on it.
Yeah.
So
That's one of those ideas that you pitch to a company that's already in the space without them. Well, will they steal the idea?
that's very common too. Or you get a partnership from, I don't want to speak negatively. I mean, there's a million iterations. And then there are like very good positive success stories. But I guess that's what I would say is really understanding, like anything, it's not like my marketing coach, she's not all bad. Even that bro marketer, there might be something in there. VCs are not bad people. They're people that are very money motivated for the most part, and they're going to figure out how
Yeah.
is this product that you might think is really cool. PMS bites, that's what it was called, PMS bites.
That's a cute
And then
name
she was
too.
making menopause bites, and then she was making it like, they're like these little bites. Anyway,
I
and
have so
so,
many ideas for this business. They're spinning in my head on how to market her business. But okay, next.
well, here's what I'll say also. There is no free lunch. There is no silver bullet. And so you might, and you probably see this in Shark Tank or whatever. You see that they get this infusion. Oh my gosh, how did they get that? How did they get that? Well, they better have to pay that back in all of the terms. And all of a sudden, you're so excited because you get this infusion of cash. Well, it's not actually your cash. It's like telling my son, uh, "Oh, he's like, how long have we had to own this house for?" Well, technically, the bank owns it. I mean, we're just borrowing it from the bank, right? It's understanding the cash flow that actually the business is part of. I mean, I do values aligned work, so that's really to go back to your original question. I'm reading this book right now called E-Myth. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's
Oh
why
yeah, I read
most
it a million years ago. Yeah,
okay.
when I launched my
Well,
business in '99 or something like that, I read it.
okay.
Yeah.
Right. So it's why most small businesses fail and what to do about it.
Hmm.
And his big thing, and I'm 1 year into my business almost, is most small businesses have no idea what they actually want to be doing. They want to work for themselves. They have this idea, but what do they actually want? Do they want this money legacy? Do they want to sell it to somebody else? Do they want to partner with somebody? And it's okay to not know exactly, but I think anybody who's over 40 understands, wait a second, I'm not going to live forever. At least I'm 42. And what matters most to me? These relationships, my time, maybe I'm just preaching my values.
You are in tune with your values, and that's where most women over 40 want to be. They want to be in tune with their values. So it's not, this is not a bad thing that you are identifying your own values. How do you help someone find out what their most important values are?
So first we need to think about, I like to sometimes think about like your day as like a green, yellow, red system.
Mm.
When are you in the green? When are you like fired up? With whom? And you can think about it with the 3 C's too, which is what communities are you part of when you're lit up? What challenges are you solving? And what kind of contribution are you making? The more you can understand those 3 C's and how it overlaps with your current day, and I mean like very in the weeds almost, that's when you can start to say, oh my gosh, I'm spending so much of my day in the red. Okay, well, what do we do about that? We see what your green is. How do we do more of your green? So when I started to do this for myself, I was the director of business ventures, and I realized my most green part of the day, I would sit down with companies and I would say, tell me how you're doing and tell me how your business is doing. And they would start to tell me how they were doing. And then they would tell me how their business was doing. And I started realizing I don't really care how their business is doing. I care how they're doing.
Mm.
Took me like 6 months and a lot of
You figured out where you needed to go next.
yes. And then I went to my boss. Again, I'm like kind of fast forwarding the story, but I went to my boss and I said, oh my gosh, I think I actually enjoy understanding who they are. And so, which was huge risk at that time, but I knew he kind of had my back. And he said, I see you light up when you're talking to somebody about how they're actually doing, not what they're doing, not their numbers. And I said, well, could I do that here? And I always encourage people to pitch what they want to be doing internally first. He said, no, that's not your job here,
Mm.
but I'll help you figure out how and where to be doing that. He introduced me to all kinds of therapists. He wrote my recommendation letter for social work school. This very computer that we're sitting on, he gave it to me as a parting gift for going back to school.
Mm. What a great guy.
I know, he really is. He's on my advisory board now. What if I hadn't asked him, if I had just sat there and thought, oh my gosh, that made me so green in terms of a light up, bury that away, file that away. That's when I started to get really misaligned because my
Mm.
job was literally asking about their numbers and this. And I can speak all of that and I enjoy that, but it wasn't lighting me up in the same way.
Let's talk about that advisory board. How does a solopreneur create one for themselves?
Call me. We'll work it out. No, I'm just kidding. So think about So let me just explain the model for it. I do have an MBA, and I say that because so much of what I've learned from my MBA, I'm actually using for myself now. But we think about these huge companies. We have obviously it's associated with one name for the most part. Do you know there are it's like a movie. There's thousands of people behind the movie that we don't see.
Mm-hmm.
And we all need to be really mindful that we might be the face of the company, but that does not mean we're doing everything at all. And so the advisory board, so first it's creating your own org chart, even if you work for yourself. This is very E-Myth, which is who's doing my books, who's doing the marketing, who's doing this. I'm not doing it all. There's 24 hours in the day. And if I'm doing all of that, then nothing's going well. So the first thing is to figure out kind of what you're going to outsource. And I'm still figuring this out. That's going to elevate you and put you in the more green, to use my own language. The advisory board, I say it's 3 to 5 people that are strategic thought partners for you on the biggest problems that you're trying to solve.
You're creating your own mastermind.
Yes.
I love that.
And so I send mine a quarterly update and it holds me accountable. And I say, here are the goals for the next quarter. Here are the introductions I'm looking to make. Here's an update on my marketing materials. Here's an update on my website traffic, whatever it is. And these are some pretty influential people. And they'll come up with all kinds of ideas. Oh, can I put that on your advisory board member on my LinkedIn? Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. I mean, things like that.
Well, that's a great idea. That's a fantastic idea. I love
Thank
that.
you.
All right. It's getting to be about time to wrap up. Is there anything that we have not talked about that you wanted to talk about?
I think one thing I will mention is that the work can feel isolating. And the more that we, not just you, me too, can find moments of connection, the better. And I mean, there's what we're doing to market ourselves, but then there's also how we're actually doing and who we can process with. And so whether it's finding an accountability partner, it's understanding sort of like the mental health journey that a solopreneur is on is real. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Okay. How do people get a hold of you?
My website, so my company is called Made for More Coaching, which the name came from a client, not for me. It used to just be called my name. And then I have a lot of people who are burnt out, who are in toxic work environments. And I said, you are made for more than this company. And she was like, that's the name of your company. So I like to share that story sometimes. You never know where your name's going to come from, or how it's going to pivot. Madeformorecoach.com. And I post on LinkedIn all the time, Rachel Spekman, Spekman. And I have a free training on my website too.
People don't have to have a business that's sellable. You don't have to make your business sellable. But Made for More coaching is something that someone may want to buy in the future.
Yes.
Rachel Spekman coaching is not.
Thank you. Should I get you on my advisory board? Marketing feedback.
I would love to be on your advisory board. All
Thank
right.
you.
This is your moment of gratitude. Rachel Spekman, for who or what are you most grateful?
I'm so grateful for my wife. She's so supportive of me. She has been for a very long time. I'm grateful to my parents because they don't always understand what I'm doing, but they're behind it. And that includes my brother. And I'm grateful for you and for our time together.
Thanks for tuning in to Gratitude Geek. If you understand that gratitude is a business strategy, then Gratitude Geek is the podcast for you. Our theme music is by Rev Brock and Solely. I've been your host, Kandas Rodarte. Stay groovy, my friends.
Stay groovy, my friends.